What are the very best DJ controllers right here, right now in 2024? Across all software, that's what we're going to be looking at today on this live show here from Digital DJ Tips. I'm Phil Morse and I'll join you in 30 seconds. We have them all in the studio here. We'll tell you exactly why we think they're the best right here, right now. See you in 30. So every year we do this, we round up our favorite controllers. We don't only do it for this kind of like the best of the best, we also do it for all the different software platforms, and we also round up other kinds of gear like all-in-one standalone DJ units. But this is our kind of best of the very best show when we're going to look at just the 7 that we recommend more often than anything else to our students here at the Digital DJ Tips School. And I need to, before we get started, cover off some things which always happen when we talk about this. So these are not necessarily all brand new. So don't expect me to be giving you the stuff that's only come out this year. I can't recommend 7 things that have come out this year, quite frankly. So it's the stuff that is relevant today. And at least a couple of these are quite old, but still completely great to use. Secondly, I just mentioned it, we're not covering what we call all-in-one units. So if the unit can work as an option without a laptop, we're not covering it. We're literally sticking to laptop software controllers that need you to have the laptop with you in the DJ booth so that they work at all. That said, all but one of the ones that we're covering here are expensive, and I'll tell you why in a little while, which means they do have features other than just being able to control DJ software. So if you look around the back of any expensive DJ controller, for sure you can plug turntables in and so on. So expect everything that we cover here, apart from one exception, and I'll tell you why when we get to it. Expect everything that we cover here to have professional inputs and outputs and microphone channels and the ability to plug decks in and that kind of thing. That's kind of taken as read because we recommend serious gear here at Digital DJ Tips. Our people are serious DJs who want us to recommend really high quality stuff, right? So this is our unbiased opinion, and it's just that, an opinion. If you have gear which is not one of the 7 that we're talking about here, that's absolutely fine. You know, I can't talk about every piece of gear that's been released in the last 5 years in a show like this. It's absolutely fine that you haven't got one of these 7, because ultimately DJing is about 4 things: 2 record decks, CDJs, media players, or ways of playing music, a way of mixing those 2 things together, some way of plugging your headphones in so you can hear something different to what the crowd is hearing, and some speakers so that the crowd can hear what you want them to hear. And as long as your gear's got that, well, what we teach is DJing, and you'll be able to do it on that. You know, you can get all that on your phone nowadays, and certainly any DJ controller nowadays has got so much more than 2 record decks and a mixer, right? So we're saying to you that yes, gear is important, but move past it. It's really not the reason that we're doing it, and it's not going to decide whether you're a great DJ or not. So don't get hung up about it. These are our current favorites. Now, that said, we are completely unbiased here at Digital DJ Tips. I need to point this out whenever we do these kinds of things, because someone pops up and says something like, oh, it's just because you've done a deal with whoever. I recommend that you go and take a look at the Digital DJ Tips website, because on the Digital DJ Tips website, you'll find a post that we put on there recently, which explains all of this. So I'll show it to you now. Head over to digitaldjtips.com, where you'll, oh, I can't show it to you because the feed from the computer is not working properly. I'll try and get that to work. So basically on Digital DJ Tips, we've got an article that we wrote recently that explains exactly how we are funded as a website, and that will tell you exactly that there is no money coming into our pockets from any of these companies. Head over to Digital DJ Tips then, and then go to our latest section, and in there you'll find some info about that. So It's quite a recent article, so it'll be somewhere near the top here. There we go. How Digital DJ Tips is funded, what you should know. Come and have a look at that, because it's really important for us that you know we are giving you unbiased information. Ultimately, we're a DJ school. We're here to help people become better DJs, and the DJs that buy our courses pay for us. So on an internet where you can't trust anything, you can trust what I say and you can trust what our school tells you, right? Right, so all that stuff said, we've got to get started on this list, haven't we? Our philosophy, as I said at the beginning, is serious controllers for serious people. So 6 out of these 7, you're going to be spending 4 figures to get. That's cool. That's the way it should be. Buy good gear and keep it forever. That's our motto. So let's get started then. So the controller I've got on the desk here is actually not our number 1 controller, but it's somewhere near the top. But what I thought would be quite good fun would be to start at the very bottom, because at the very bottom has got probably the least, well, definitely the least impressive of all the units on today's show. This little controller, this little boy. It's the Pioneer DJ DDJ-FLX4. So when we tell our students who are starting to learn here at the school, give them the answer to the question, what should I buy? We normally say, get any old entry-level controller, learn the stuff that you need to know, and then a year or 2 into your journey, get something proper. And so the other 6 controllers here are proper. This is our favorite entry-level controller. It's the Pioneer DJ DDJ-FLX4. It's cheap, it's well made, it's a proven design. It's based on the DDJ-400 that came before it, which was extremely popular. All of our tutors love this, and we love it too. It just does the job. Really flexible controller, works with all types of DJ software happily, including stuff running on iPhones and iPads and Android tablets and so on. It's just a really good investment. The controls are where you'd expect to find them. It's pretty much got everything you need to learn this game. And the beauty about buying something like this is when you upgrade to something bigger, you keep this as your second controller. You've got to have a second controller in case your first one breaks and you're playing a gig. So you keep it as your second controller. Or you fall out of love with DJing, you sell it. You've lost very little compared to buying an expensive controller and selling it. So our number 7 on our list is the DDJ-FLX4. Proven design, flexible. I'd say the only thing people don't like about that is it looks a bit cheap, especially compared to the one that came before it, the 400. But it isn't. It will last you a decent length of time. It's a well-made device. So that's our first recommendation. If you're not sure where to start, just get yourself a Flex 4 and learn DJing with something simple like that. It will have more than enough to get you going. Right. Number 6 in our list is actually Traktor controller. Now, Traktor is not the most popular DJ software anymore. I'd say probably 1 in 10 of our DJs are Traktor users. However, Traktor is great software for electronic DJs. It's got very tight looping and very tight sync. And we think if you're a Traktor user, this is the one you should go for. It's the top of the range Traktor controller. It's the Traktor Kontrol S4. Despite these looking like rather small jog wheels, they're motorized, which is really cool, with some nice haptic feedback, nice technology going on there. And it's got everything else that you would want in a controller for that software. Proper control over the remix decks and the stems that you get in that software, with little screens to help you with that. Proper inputs and outputs, good sound quality. It's not the biggest or most impressive looking controller in the world, but it's got everything you could possibly need as a Traktor user, and we'd thoroughly recommend it. So we've had a lot of fun with this and with Traktor over the years. Not new, it's quite an old controller now. It's actually the Mark III of the S4, but this would be our recommendation for you as a Traktor user. Right, that's the only Traktor controller we're going to be covering here. They only really promote their own controllers for use of Traktor, and the other ones are just cut down versions of that. So that's definitely the one to go for. Right, we're going to move up to our number 5 choice now. I've got them all here, by the way. I'm not going to turn them on or anything. If you want to see the full reviews of them, we've got them over on Digital DJ Tips, the full video reviews and full written reviews of all of these. So here's our number 5. It's the Reloop Mixon 8. So the Mixon 8 is a Serato controller, but more importantly, it's a algorithm DJ Pro AI controller. Sorry, it's not called AI anymore. It's just called DJ Pro. And the good thing about this is it's got a slot at the back where my hand is, so you can plug in like an iPad Pro even, and have your screen kind of fitted to it. So if you want a DJ controller that's got all the controls you could possibly need, well made, external deck inputs, you can use 2 laptops with it, all the pro features, but you don't know if you want to use a laptop or you want to use an iPad to control it, and you're not sure if you want to use Serato or Algorithm's wonderful DJ Pro software, this is the one for you. It's the most impressive by far for that particular platform. I've got no hesitation in recommending that. It's also got a rather unusual mirror image layout as well, which you don't see very much on controllers anymore, where it's like they've put a mirror down the middle, and so the pitch controls are on the side. So look at this controller here. See, the pitch controls here are both to the right of the jog wheels, but on the one I just showed you, this pitch control would have been there because they've kind of put this mirror image thing, which is quite nice on a controller. They don't do it so much anymore, but I think it's something that's fallen out of favour for no real good reason. It does work as a layout option, and if you like that idea, another reason to go for it. The Mixon 8 Pro. Right, now I want to move up to, we're starting to get into the, well, we've got one more that isn't new actually, so we're getting into the kind of like current state of the art controllers, if you like, but with this one little diversion that I want to show you now. This is a real thinking person's controller. We love this one. So this is the Reloop 707M. Now the Reloop DJ-707M is, I'd say, the ultimate mobile DJ's controller. This is for Serato. All these Pro controllers unlock the full version of Serato, by the way. This is with Serato. Now, what it lacks in kind of size and stature, it's got very small jogs, it's a bit cramped, it makes up for in tech. This is a brilliant sounding controller. It's got all the controls you would want, but it's also got some really cool tech that is not immediately obvious when you look at it. It has a lot of audio effects, and I'm not talking about the kind of effects that you apply to your mix, you know, throwing in flanges and echoes and that kind of thing, but rather compression and limiters and decent isolator EQ all built into it to process your sound after you finish the mixing. So in other words, you can DJ on this and the master level would normally be connected directly to the outputs. That's it. But between the master level and the outputs, for argument's sake, they've put a load of extra circuitry that you can get into. So you can adjust the EQ across your whole mix. So if you're playing on a PA system that has too much bass, you can turn the bass down for your whole mix and not have to worry about doing it on these controls. Or you can put some light compression over your whole mix to get everything louder and to keep all your volumes in check. It's got the ability to save all that work venue by venue. So if you're a mobile DJ and you regularly play in lots of different venues, you can save all your audio settings for your favorite venues and just dial them up when you walk through the door. And it's also got a zone output, which means that you can play one set of music in one room and use the other 3 channels to play music in the room that you're in, which again, for mobile DJs, weddings and so on, means that you can keep some background music playing in a bar or something while you're DJing in the main room. A real thinking person's controller. Stick this in a solid flight case, it will look as good as anything else, and it will give you control that you can't get on any of the other controllers we're talking about here today. It's a real dark horse, this one. We do have a lot of time for it. The Roland DJ-707M. Right, so we're into the top 3. So now we are looking at the kind of state-of-the-art controllers for today, the ones that are at the top of their game and the ones that you're going to pay decent money for. The first one, I've not been looking forward to picking this up because it's very heavy, is this one here. I remind you, we do have reviews of all of these over on Digital DJ Tips, so you will see them turned on and in in-depth use there. Right, here it is. This is the Pioneer DJ REV7 for Serato. This is the ultimate scratch and open format controller. Look at the very top of the controller. You see that the pitch controls are there and horizontal. That's no mistake. Of course it's no mistake. It's because the decks on this have been laid out like record decks if you are using them in kind of scratch mode, where scratch DJs will turn the record deck 90 degrees to keep the tone arm away from them when they're scratching. But that's been duplicated on this. So this has got the decks laid out how you would lay out turntables in a scratch setup. They are motorized jog wheels. They've got displays in the middle, which is great technology. And it's got that scratch look to the mixer. See, the mixer looks like a DJM series mixer. It's got the lots of space around the crossfade, only 2 channels of course, because that's what you would expect on this kind of scratch oriented performance setup. It is a really, really nice controller. The motorized jogs have to be played on to be believed. They really are very, very close to playing on real turntables. And as I say, the ultimate scratch unit for sure. If there's a downside to it, some people don't like that battle layout. They're like, oh, on a turntable, I get it, but really? But hey, that's your choice. Because the next one, certainly very soon, if rumors are to be believed, will give you an option that is similar to that, but that gives you the normal layout of the decks. Hold that thought, because before we talk about that rumor, let's talk about something we know for sure. This one here is our number 2 choice. It's the Rane 4. Now, I'll move my laptop out of the way so you can get a total look at it. The Rane 4 is a 4-channel controller from Rane, very high-end brand, of course, with all the control you could possibly want over Serato. It's got full control over stems with acapella and instrumental buttons and other features for stems, which are pretty high-end. It's got separate screens down here to give you feedback on what's going on the pads. Interestingly, no motorization going on the jog wheels, but apart from that, great displays in the middle, wonderful effects, paddle controls on the effects on the mixer as well. It is probably the most fully featured Serato controller in the world. And we have no hesitation, if you're a Rane DJ, if you're a Serato DJ who wants something and you're not bothered about not having motorized jog wheels, but you want something that'll give you really in-depth control over everything in Serato, this is definitely the one. So I said to you to hold that thought. We are now sure that Rane will be releasing a controller called the Performer very soon. And the Performer, as far as we can tell, is basically this, but with motorized jog wheels. So hold fire if you like the look of this, but you want something with motorized jog wheels. We think that's coming soon, having seen it in the wild and had a good look at it. And our good friend Reddit and all the people digging through the photos that we uncovered and looking at it and stuff, we've all come to the conclusion it's definitely coming, the Rane Performer. So there will be a motorized take on this, and who knows, it might be on this list somewhere near the top this time next year. However, we've reached the top. It's like a chart countdown, this, isn't it? What is this year's number 1? Well, we've picked a controller that we think for most DJs who are serious about this is going to be, if not their top choice, certainly in their top 3. And it's this one here. It is the successor to the extremely popular DDJ-1000 controllers from Pioneer DJ. It is the Pioneer DJ-FLX10. So the FLX10 is the controller that gives you the most flexibility. It's in the name. So it works with Serato and Rekordbox. It comes with both software platforms, so it unlocks Serato and Rekordbox, so you get a choice there. And it is full of controls which are both familiar because it's a club layout, but also go to a lot of depth. There's some stuff in here you don't get on any other units. For instance, you can use the stems by separating them and putting them through the effects here on individual stems. So you can put the drums or the vocals or the music only through the effects, which is really, really cool. And it's got something called Mix Point Link, not quite so successful because no one can figure out how to use it properly. I mean, we know how to use it, it just doesn't fit into anyone's workflow that I've ever met. However, at least they're trying something new with that. It is best for Rekordbox, and therein lies its weakness, because Rekordbox at the moment is poor when it comes to stems, which is what everyone wants to play on at the moment. I just described one of the uses for them. They just aren't up to scratch. It also works with Serato, but when you use it with Serato, the layout and the features, you realize they've been designed really for Rekordbox. So you can get used to it quite quickly, but it's not quite as good on Serato as it is on Rekordbox. The fact it works on both is great, but when Rekordbox get their stems sorted out, I think it's going to be close to a perfect controller. But it's one of those that you will buy hoping or having faith in the fact that at some point soon, they will get a version 2 of that stems control out and clean up the bad audio quality that currently blights that part of the software. However, 4 channels, external inputs, 2 laptops, great sound quality, great outputs, great microphone channels, an awful lot of control over whatever you throw at it. As an all-rounder, I think the FLX10 is still, just by a very short amount, our favorite controller. It certainly seems to be the most popular among our audience. So we've looked at the FLX4 as a good starting controller. We've looked at the Kontrol S4 Mk3 as a good Traktor controller. The Mixon 8 Pro as a good controller for DJ Pro, including on iPad. And then we looked at the 707M, a good Serato controller for mobile DJs. The REV7, a great scratch and open format motorized controller. The Rane Four, probably the ultimate controller for Serato. And the FLX10 for Serato and Rekordbox, but mainly for Rekordbox, which just by a shade is probably our favorite controller of 2024. What about VirtualDJ, you might ask? It works on all of them. VirtualDJ is unique in that respect. So all of these controllers would be a great choice if that's the platform that you want to use. Just want to remind you, one, no bias here, no underhand payments at this website. This is completely paid for by you, our students, if you choose to buy our courses. So the opinions you just had are our own. And secondly, just because your controller wasn't here, it doesn't mean it isn't worth having. It doesn't mean we don't rate it. We've got reviews of every controller that's ever been released, so you can go and have a look at our reviews and see what we think of your particular controller. But more importantly, just remember, DJing is not about the gear you do it on. All gear can do enough for you to be a wonderful DJ playing on it. What we're giving you here is our opinions in case you're looking to buy a really serious controller this year and you want some advice from our school. So, all that said, I'm now going to pull in the laptop, and if you're watching us live, great, ask your questions, join in the chat, but even if you're watching the recording, I'm here to help you with anything that you need help with in this area. So just ask underneath the video where you're watching this and my team and I will get to you. But for now, I'm going to jump into the chat and we'll talk DJ controllers for the next 10 minutes or so before the end of the show. So hello everyone. Hello to our wonderful regulars, Kesha and the Ruckus and Kevin. Hello to Mike and Dr. Clara. Nice to see you, Dr. Clara. Benny in Tampa, Florida. Hello, Benny. JJ says, I sold my DDJ-1000 and I moved to Phase DJ with Technics. Turntables, you've gone the turntable DVS route. Good on you, Travis. So Travis says, I'm very happy. Brooklyn says, what do you think about the Rane Four with platters? Is it going to be heavy? I have the Rane Four and I love it. That's the one we were talking about, isn't it? The Rane Performer that we think is coming. Well, it will definitely be heavy. But yeah, if you like rotating jog wheels, they're not important for DJing with software, they really aren't, but if you like the feel of them, then yeah, it's going to be a good one for you. Hello to Jules and Mixmaster John Roback. Hello to Harmonic Boom on Twitch. Hello to Java Man Sanchez on YouTube and Easy J on YouTube as well. So this is from JC Technium, who's got a controller technical question. It says, when I record my sets on my controller, it sounds different. Why? Well, you've got the recording set slightly wrong there. But without knowing more information, can't help you, JC. So maybe you'll let us know or just post that in the YouTube comments and we'll try and help you on that one. So Harmonic Boom says, a great saw does not make a great furniture maker. Completely, yeah. Your DJing is not about the gear you're using, it's about what you're doing with it. I totally agree with you there. I'm a joker, says Easy J, so these won't be for me. I'm sure jokers are allowed to use good DJ gear as well. The FLX4 is a perfect backup unit, says Harmonic Boom. Yes, agree completely. But a few of you saying you don't like the USB-C socket on the back of it. Yeah, they're dividing people USB-C sockets on DJ controllers. So I can probably show you on the overhead camera here, although it probably won't be in focus. But they've got a USB-C socket rather than the bigger kind of printer cable sockets that they used to have on DJ controllers, and they are a bit wobbly, it's true. So yeah, jury's out on whether that's better. Obviously people are being encouraged strongly to move to USB-C in their lives, but there we go. Gumption says the FLX4 was my first controller and I upgraded to the FLX10. It's definitely a very common upgrade path, that. So Ismail says, how is the sound with the FLX4? Do I need to connect to an external mixer for more powerful sound? I would say you don't. Benny says, I have the FLX4. It works great for smaller parties and gatherings, but I've played big events with it as well. And I've made mixes in my bed. So a controller that can go from your bed to big events. Maybe that should be their marketing phrase for it. for the Flex 4. This is great. Thank you for your comments here. I'll keep reading out what you're saying about your controllers, people. What's your take on the Mixars Primo? Not available anymore, so we don't cover that one anymore. But yeah, it was a good controller. It's the Roland 707M. Apparently I said the Reloop while I meant Roland. It's extremely flexible, that 707M. It says harmonic boom with multiple zones, etc. But for me, I like a little more room. I have big hands. Yeah, it's definitely the case that that is quite a cramped controller. This is a question from Lou. Lou, your question is pretty long. And so feel free to ask it in the Facebook group or come back on Thursday when we next do one of our Thursday sessions, and we'll try and help you with that there. We're going to stick to talking about controllers here. This is from Mark, who says, I actually had a Roland controller. I had the 808. I sold it for the Flex 10, but I think it was the best controller I ever had. They were an underrated series of controllers, those Roland controllers, for sure. I agree completely. So I'm tossing up, it says DJ Space Cowgirl Anna, between the Flex 10 and the Prime 4, which is one of the units that we're not covering today because it's a all-in-one unit that you don't have to use a laptop with, or saving for the Opus Quad, any input. Well, they're all very good units, but you've got two types of DJ gear there. You've got the controller that you definitely need a laptop with, and you've got two units that you don't. So decide if you want to DJ without a laptop first, which you'll decide one way or the other. And then you're going to have a smaller decision to make. So there's my first bit of advice. Make that decision first. So this is from Mark, who says, I'm holding out for an XDJ-XZ2 or an RX4, but I think both are way off yet. Yes, so these are the follow-ups to two very, very popular units, both of which can work standalone, which means we haven't covered them here, from Pioneer DJ. And yes, they are both now, the RX3 and the XDJ-XZ or XZ are now getting quite old as well. So yeah, you're right, maybe it is worth waiting, but we've not heard anything about new ones yet. We do say to DJs, get what you need now, because the learning that you could use, or the learning you could put in, is time that you'll never get back. There's no point waiting for the control of your dreams and then holding off doing something that you could be doing in the meantime. Just get the one you want now. What's the Flex controllers like on VirtualDJ? They're great. Can you DJ fully in your headphones with the Flex 10? Yes, you can. This is from Ave, who says, I'm just wondering, what's your thoughts on Hercules and their dejuiced software? So our thoughts are, when you're starting out your DJ journey, any old beginner controller will do. Our favorite beginner controller is the Pioneer DJ-FLX4 for the reasons we've given you, but any old DJ controller will do. Hercules have got some very good value DJ controllers that work with Serato, in the light version of Serato, but also they work with their own software, which is called Dejuiced. It's brilliant for learning to DJ, as is any beginner controller. It's got all the things you need. When it comes to upgrading to a bigger controller, you're leaving the likes of Hercules and the cheaper brands behind, and you're going for some of the names that we've talked about here. It really doesn't matter what you start on. You see other smaller, cheaper controllers around here. Things like this. They'll all do the job for you. They've all got two, at least, music sources. I don't actually know why that was perched very precariously on a mixer there. I'll put it away properly in a bit. They've got two music sources. They've got headphones monitoring, speakers, and they've got a mixer. That's all you need to learn DJing. So my view on the Hercules controllers, they're a great way of starting DJing, as are all the little cheap controllers. Right, so Max says, access to the right music and the hardware and software that allows you to do it, that's the ticket. And I'm with you all the way there, Matt. Exactly what you need. Nick says, have you done one for the best standalone club gear 2024? Well, look, this is a good chance for me to show you what we've got for you. Over on the website, you'll find an article, our 7 best DJ controllers for 2024, which is the one we're looking at now, right? So you'll see all the controllers I've just talked about here. There's the Flex 10 at number 1, the Rane 4, and so on. This will link you through to full reviews of all these units, including a video review, usually by me. So you can watch a lot more about all of these units there. But if you click on free guides at the top of our website, you will see a whole load of other guides. So for instance, we're looking here at the best systems for Algorithms DJ Pro, the best all-in-one standalone systems, which is exactly what you just asked for, but also Serato and so on. So do come and take a look on the website and find what you're looking for here. And when we make videos like this one that I'm recording now live with you guys and girls, they get slotted into there. So you'll see in a lot of those roundups a video of me doing what I'm doing here today, talking you through the units. So yes, go take a look on the site and you'll find that. Right, so the next live comment then, as we kind of move through, Colin says, surely the Hercules T7 nearly made it, Phil. It's a great piece of kit. Hercules T7 is a rather cheap controller with motorized jog wheels, which is quite amazing to find at that price point. The reason it didn't make it on twofold. One, it does feel rather cheap, although it's got an amazing technology kind of stuffed into it. But two, it doesn't unlock the full version of Serato, and therefore you need to go and buy the full version, which will cost you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which pushes the whole price up into the same kind of price bracket that some of these units cost, which is why ultimately it didn't make the rub. But look, if you've got it, if it's working for you, if you've got the software, you're happy with it, great. I'm not saying, there's a great example there of don't think that what I say means what you've got's rubbish. Far from it. These are our 7 best of the best, right? So you will find that Hercules controller in other places on our website, along with a full review of it. So this is from, this is a good question. I've noticed my DJ software, DJ Pro, is much bassier than other platforms. I've never ever heard that before. Russell says the Flex 6 is a controller where you can't stream your mic online through the decks. That's something a lot of cheaper controllers have. The Flex 6 is one of those controllers that's kind of with the Hercules T7. It's kind of a bit more expensive than something like this or those other really cheap controllers, but it hasn't quite got enough on it extra for me to kind of justify itself. Strange one, the Flex 6. I've never got on with it. Anyway, I bought the REV7 mostly for its excellent sound quality and effects, says Colin. The spinning jogs just make it look even more cool. Yes, well, cool. Who cares? If they make it look cool and you like it, then that's great. So I've got the DJ DDJ-1000, says Eric, which is the one that came before the Flex 10, which Eric has also got. And I just sold the DDJ-800. Now I'm looking for the REV5. Any thoughts about that? The REV5 is an interesting one. I'm not going to pick it up again. It'll do my back in. But it's basically the non-motorized jog wheel version of the Pioneer DJ REV7. I am not a big fan of it. I think they should have done a non-motorized jog wheel version of the REV7, but instead they took away some of the build quality, they took away some of the features, and it came in for me as a bit of a cut down REV7, and I don't agree with that. I think what's likely to happen with this one, the Rane 4, because we think there's a motorized version of this coming, is the motorized version will be the same as this with motorized jog wheels and the same features. And I think that's what they should have done with the REV5. The REV5 is a great controller, don't get me wrong, until you've seen the REV7. And then you wish you had some of those features they left off. So yeah, it didn't make our big list, but it's a brilliant controller. It's got an awful lot going for it. Don't take that as us saying you shouldn't buy it. There's a massive Spanish comment here from Jose, who is, I read Spanish absolutely fine, but I'm not too sure this has got an awful lot to do with what we're talking about, but thank you, Jose. I mean, it's nice that you thought of us. That's all I can say at this point. If you want to read what Jose's got to say and you're also a Spanish reader, head over to our Facebook channel. Right, so just 1 or 2 more comments. This is from Andrew on Facebook, who says, on YouTube, I'm a club DJ and I use the Rane 4. When I'm using stems to isolate vocals, the sound can often sound quite weak and much quieter on the speaker system. It's just part of the way stems are, and you just need to get used to DJing with them and adjusting your levels accordingly, Andrew. They do sound rather good, I have to say, the Serato stems, so it's nothing about your stems not being as good as they should be, it's just the way it is. So yeah, just maybe don't try and play the stems on their own, mix them with other stuff and so on. A lot of people don't like stems because they're not sure what they're going to get when they press the buttons, and kind of what you're saying fits in with that a little bit. This is from Victor, who says, what controller would you recommend for someone wanting to do live sets in the outdoor environments like beach sets? Honestly, go for this. You're probably going to break it. It's probably going to get sand on it and dirt on it. It's simple. There's less to go wrong. It's like if you're going to go and decorate your garden, paint the fences, don't wear your best clothes. Don't take your best controller down the beach. Get something nice and cheap that you can, you know, wipe down afterwards. And if it goes a bit creaky, if you get a bit of sand in the jog wheels, then, well, look, that's the way it is. Take something cheap down there would be my advice. Put it in a good case, put an umbrella up, and make sure you keep your laptop cool. That's the really important thing when you're down the beach. Right, I think we're going to take one more comment here, and I'm going to take something that's slightly different to end off with. DJ Tooley O'Toole says, talking about doing your back in, I wish we could get a new generation of good, lightweight flight cases for all these wonderful controllers. They're so backbreaking to lift into and onto our booths and tables. I know what you mean, but you can always use the soft cases. A lot of people nowadays, apart from for the biggest controllers, just get the soft cases, which have got a lot of protection, and even the bigger controllers, you can get it on your back. So maybe worth thinking about a soft case. Right, this has been our roundup of our favourite 7 controllers of 2024. Whether you agree or not, let us know in the comments underneath where you're watching this. Come back again next time for another show. We're on Tuesdays at this time, whatever time you tuned in. I don't want to tell you exactly when that was in your case, because I know that daylight savings has happened over in the US and it hasn't happened here. So in the US, this won't be the time that you watch us in a couple of weeks when they all get back into sync. So anyway, we are here every Tuesday at the time that you turned on your laptop to watch us, or your phone today. That's the best I can say. Meanwhile, from me here in the studio, hope you've enjoyed it. Get good, get out there, make the moments. I will see you again very soon. Until next time, bye-bye.